bird on a tree. I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. Take a step back to see the truth around you. From a distance you can tell. to be in the great outdoors, forever free. You and me, meant to be.
Greetings, glitter goddesses. Happy Thursday. I am back once again to craft some things. Maybe I will craft them well, maybe I won't. It'll be a surprise. It'll be a surprise. Thursday surprise. Thursday surprise. Sparkle surprise. Welcome, everyone. Want to let you know, just as a reminder, 10 days left till the deadline for Glitter Party 2019. If you have a Kathryn Scraps project you want to enter to win a Rotatrim or $200 gift card to the craft store of your choice if you don't need a Rotatrim or already have one or whatever, then yeah, that's happening. Details in the video description. So if you need to know what Glitter Party 2019 is, if you don't know what it is, then it's in the video description. If you're looking for something quick that you can do, the baby album playlist that I just finished on YouTube, that comes together very quickly, especially if you only do 6 pages and you don't do it as a baby album. And then that's on my YouTube channel. Just finished it. And then of course the Dorian Pocket's another one I would recommend for something quick and easy. But I have a bunch of stuff. And next week, the 21st, this is going to be cutting it close. But next Thursday, the 21st, I'm going to do the cayenne pepper Dorian Pocket twist to hold gratitude cards. We're going to try and put something together like that for Thanksgiving. I'll show you how you can make place cards to go in a Dorian Pocket. So we're going to do that next week because that's the last Thursday before Thanksgiving, because Thanksgiving is the 28th. So next week, 21st, we're going to make the Thanksgiving Dorian Pocket. And then the Thursday after that, there's no class because Thanksgiving. And then the 29th, Black Friday, I'm going to do a class at 2. And I figured out what I'm going to do. And I'm going to start that Simple Stories Christmas countdown stair step, stadium step, box thingamajig that I talked about. So I'm going to do that at 2 on Black Friday. And then somewhere on like the 25th, somewhere like around the 25th, I'll put up on Facebook, on my Facebook page, how to, there'll be a post that you can share and enter and comment on to be entered into the Black Friday giveaway. All my giveaways I do, you got to sign up ahead of time. Any idea on my paper for the Christmas one? So I have a kind of country looking Christmas paper from like way back in, from like back in the day, and it's Hobby Lobby brand that has similar vibes to that Simple Stories paper. So I thought we could do that. But another thing that I thought of was doing it, trying to find a Valentine paper. I don't know. Do you want another Christmas project, or do you want to move to a different thing? Because I already did a Christmas project. So, you know, I don't know if we need another Christmas project. I also thought about buying their paper and try to copy it as closely as possible so that it could be like a tutorial for people who wished there was a tutorial of that exact project. But I don't know. So I was thinking about kind of just doing my own thing with my Christmas stash and just using my own Christmas papers. I also, so that's what I had kind of thought, is that I would just pull some Christmas papers from my stash, because I have collected a few over the years. So, and it would be nice to get one more stash project out. So what I'm going to do for Black Friday is I'm going to take you through the process of how I look at someone else's creation and try and figure out what they did and you know, like, and whether or not I need to figure out what they did, or if I can look at the final result and be like, it doesn't matter what they did because I know I can do X and it will work. So, you know, it'll be something like that. I'll make sure to have the person's project linked so you can go and leave kudos for that person. So, all right. So anyway, that's what's going on. So this afternoon, what we did was we figured out how to make a quad Polaroid. We got all of the photo mats into the inserts for the pockets, and that's for all 3 pockets, so that, you know, all 3 pockets have photo mats on them. So now it's just decorating in regards to the pockets. And so that's what we're going to be working on tonight. We're going to be these are the inserts for the folders now. We made 3 quad Polaroids. So hi Beverly, hi Antoinette. I didn't say hi to anyone. Sandra is here. She's crafting up a storm. I know she's working on her glitter party projects. Shaka, hello, how are you? Greetings, Kimberly Brown. Candy and Deb are here. Deb says, good evening, glitter goddesses. Lacey Annie, how are you doing? Hi, Ella. Hi again, Kathryn. Ellen is furiously working on her projects as well. Greetings to Denise from New Zealand, where she is typing from the future, and it's Friday afternoon. Lori, how are you? Carol Joan says she can never have too many Christmas projects. Shawana, greetings. Hi, Pat. Ella, I like to do my own thing too, so maybe that's probably what we'll just do. Flo, how are you? Good evening to Gretchen. YouTube notification's not working today. Let me check. Let me see if I got my notification that I went live, because that's what I'm supposed to get. I got a notification at 8:52. I got the email. So, Teresa, hello, and Joyce, good evening, everyone. I have the baby album done. Just have to decide if I want to take better pictures or if the ones from my messy desk are good. Well, I don't think anyone has a problem with messy desk pictures. People probably like seeing messy desks because it makes them feel better about their own messy desks. All right, so here we go. What I'm thinking I'm going to do is, for the first thing, I'm going to do the quilt. All right, so we decided that we're going to make a quilt for the front of this. And the reason I'm going to do the quilt first is just because I think I want that at the front of a video, so that if you have to replay it to get the measurements for the quilt and what have you, it'll be, you know, you don't have to go far. Oh, Jan just got her notification. So it sounds like it was a little slow. Okay, so, because I don't know what size I made anything. 9 5/8 by, this is 8 7/8, right? Yeah. Okay. So 9 5/8 by 8 7/8, which means that the quilt needs to be 9 3/8 by 8 5/8. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it out of the scrap paper. If I have a thin sheet. Well, I don't have a totally thin, like paperweight thin. By the way, if you got a ton of notifications that I was like moving and deleting and re-uploading and moving and deleting stuff in the Split Decision album, oh my gosh, I confused myself so much when I was uploading stuff. So I finally got it all sorted out, but oh my good gracious, was it chaos for a while. So if you got a ton of notifications, I am sorry about that. But I like just did not even know which end was up for a minute there. I got done uploading and came downstairs, and Mr. Lifeguard was like, "So, lots of updates," and I was like, "Stab it, stab it." Okay, so this is 9 3/8 by 8 5/8. Yes, it is. Okay, so this mats onto here. So this is going to be the start of our quilt. And then we're going to center this piece on the quilt. So what I'm going to do... Oh, Split Decision is big, yes. Many gigabytes. 9 3/8 by 8 5/8. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. So this is 9 3/8 by 8 5/8. We need to do some math. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract from 9 3/8. I'm going to subtract 6 1/4. And that's 3 1/8, and then I'm going to divide. Well, I'm not gonna worry about it. Let's say it's 3 1/2. And so I just need to know what half of 3 1/2 is. One 3/4. Okay, because I'm gonna make a frame. I'm going to show you. I'm not going to cover this whole thing in quilt because that's a waste. So I'm going to frame like the part that needs to be covered. So I know all right. And then 8 5/8. We are not cooking this year other than dressing minus 4 1/2 is 4 1/8. So let's just say it's 4 1/2, which means it's 2 1/4 in from each side. Because last year went so smoothly that no one wants to cook anymore. Like they never want to cook again as long as they live on on Thanksgiving. So, and my parents aren't coming because my dad said that he will never, ever, 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 ever travel on Thanksgiving ever again. So, you know, that's the situation that I'm dealing with. Oh, because I did this for a 4x6, but this is a 5x7, so I can actually make it probably... So they are in full rebellion around here. And they're never cooking again, they said. They're never cooking again. So, you know, I guess I'm never cooking Thanksgiving ever again. So we got the Cracker Barrel meal again this year because that's what they wanted. So we're doing that again. Alright, so I made my second frame. And yes, I can still cover it. Okay. No, holiday travel is pretty bad. The only holiday travel that I've ever done that was bearable was one time Mr. Lifeguard and I flew somewhere first thing Christmas morning, and the airport was deserted. I mean, just completely and totally deserted. So, you know, that you can do. All right, so now I'm going to go around the whole thing with tape. Well, actually, before I tape it, you need to take one side and fold it over to the other side. All right, so you're going to make a diagonal line. And this diagonal line is where we line up our whatever, our quilt pieces. Okay, wow. And I'm just gonna run a line of black ink over it just so you can see it better. That sounds fun, Shaka. Sandra, yay, congratulations. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to put tape up to these lines that I drew. And they're hanging over the edge a little bit, and that's fine. Oh, Gretchen has got to drive to Long Island for Thanksgiving. Oof. Condolences, Gretchen. Condolences. All right, and the reason we have to cover everything is because that's where the paper is going to get stuck to these. So, and then we're going to make our quilt. And our quilt is made out of scraps. So it's a great way to use scraps. It looks fantastic. Looks like pattern paper. You know, it looks awesome. And it's easy to do. And you really feel like you're using your paper, you know. So, and I stick it to this piece because it's just easier to handle it. Rather than trying to like glue the scraps exactly to the cardstock, I find it's a lot easier for me if I glue the scraps to another piece of paper. The last time I drove anywhere near New York, the city, was actually at Thanksgiving. I was on my way to Boston, and my uncle, the directions he sent me were he wanted me to experience driving on the Tappan Zee Bridge, so he took me closer to the city, I believe, than I strictly needed to be. And when my friend and I from college were, because my family was out of town, you know, and I was in school, so I couldn't go where my family was. I think they were in Branson, Missouri. But, so I just drove to Boston, because Boston is not too far from where I went to school, because I went to school in Virginia. So I had Christmas with him. Anyway, we drove on the Tappan Zee Bridge, and there was a semi-truck with its engine literally on fire. And I was like, well, I'm glad we got to experience this together. You know, this was important. All right, so now we glue down all of our scraps. So let me get the scrap bag. And I'm going to get this trimmer. And we're going to start with the tiniest scraps. You know, the strips. If you have little thin strips, this is a good place to use them. All right. All right. Okay. I met Mr. Lifeguard after college. Not that long after college, but I did meet him after college. So we're peeling all of this tape. And the first thing we put down, we're going to put down all the way across. So I'm going to see if I can get this. I'm going to cut this strip down to 1/4 of an inch. Now all the pieces don't have to be exactly the same size, but I do recommend, for your peace of mind, that you don't do too many pieces that are really small. It's better if you keep them an inch or larger, because I don't think you get any added visual like bang for your buck from doing 1/2 inch and 1/4 inch ones, like doing the whole thing in tiny ones. You can sneak some tiny ones in here and there, but you know, do some chunky ones, mix it up. Okay, so like I said, this first piece I'm going to lay it down right on this line. And I'm going to go all the way across, sort of. So once I get to where it's not sticking anymore, then I'm going to cut it and move it And there we go. So what's going to happen is once we put that frame piece on top, then that'll look like a red stripe that goes all the way through. So that's what we're up to. So we're just going to be working on this. And keep your scraps now. I said not to do a 1/2 inch, and then I just went and did a 1/2 inch. So remember, folks, it's do as I say, not as I do. That's the rule. What I always loved, what I love is in Northern Virginia when it snows, people they lose their minds. It's the end, the complete end of the world. It's the apocalypse is nigh. We're not going to survive. None of us will make it out. That's kind of the situation. And that's how they drive, right? They drive like we're all in Mad Max. Joyce, if you want to enter something into the Glitter Party 2019, you can absolutely put your own twist on it. The only thing that I ask that you don't do is include other crafters' work than mine. So like, don't. So other than you. So it can be your work or my work, any combination of the two, but not you plus me plus somebody else. So yeah, but you absolutely could do your own twist. So yeah, I have gotten a few questions about, can I put my own twist on it? Yes. You can always make changes. I always say you should make changes to make my projects work for you. All right, so here we have a little bit of a problem, which is that we're not meeting up precisely. Which is, not quite the end of the world. Not time to panic. Okay, so what I'm going to do to even things up is I'm going to stick these two pieces as if they were in a strip, like they were one strip. And then I'm going to take my ruler, line it up with the one that's narrower. And then cut it. And then I'm going to pull it up. And if it tears like that just did, it's probably not cut all the way through. So lightly cut it again. And try pulling it up again. There we go. All right, so that solved that problem. And we just keep going. Just keep motoring right along. Okay, so this edge is done, so I'm going to go ahead and... Oh no! Just going to keep going. All right, and now two sides are done. So you can see that this doesn't actually take that long to do for how good it looks and for the pizzazz that it adds. Now, Mr. Lifeguard and I have been watching Becoming a God in Central Florida, which is crazy. It's about multi-level marketing. And, you know, how it can and does exploit the poor and whatever. But it's a dark comedy about this woman played by Kirsten Dunst, whose life has been ruined because, well, the Federal Trade Commission makes a distinction between multi-level marketing and pyramid schemes. And what they say is that if the organization you're in prioritizes you making sales and gives you tools to make sales, then you're probably in multi-level marketing. And if they don't prioritize sales and they don't care about sales and they just they prioritize you signing up new demonstrators or new other salespeople, then you're probably in a pyramid scheme, is what the government says. Now, in this show, it's very clearly a pyramid scheme. Very clearly. So there's no ambiguity whatsoever. Yeah, they're definitely in a pyramid scheme. But yeah, it's about that, and it's, you know, and it's so Florida. It's just so Florida. It's like Mr. Lifeguard and I are like constantly just like, wow, they just nailed it. They just nailed Florida, you know. I mean, people get eaten by alligators. Like, it's totally Florida. It's totally Florida. You know, the way people dress, the way people talk, it's very recognizable as Central Florida. Oops, that's not. Shouldn't have pressed that down. All right, come on, come up. Yay. So, okay, that's not gonna work. We just have to cut another one. But yeah, it's funny and depressing. So, you know, I mean, if you don't think too hard, if you don't think about, does anyone want a child? She's cute and smart and very affectionate. Oh dear. Oh dear. Is Artemis wearing out her welcome for the day? Have you reached peak Artemis? Yes, peak Artemis has happened. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Now this side, they matched up, so I must have done a better job over here. That's how they get you. That's how they get you. Almost done. And then really tiny pieces like this, you know, you can cut a little snip off and they can become your corner piece. And this is finished now. All right, so all we have to do, simple, is cut it down. I'm going to use my rotary trimmer to cut it down. So I'm just line my ruler up with the edge of my sort of scrap base and then just slice through it all. And if you have any pieces you could use, if you do this again, set them to the side, the rest put into the recycling bin. And then rotate and do it again. So Lori asked, what kind of scraps do you decide to toss? I don't toss anything until I'm done with a project. Because, you know, even these tiny scraps I can use, like I just used. All right, so here's our paper. And now that's our page. Ah! Okay, so there you go. Worth doing. Totally worth doing. So now I just ink the outside edge to tie the whole thing together. And then I'm just going to go over the whole thing with the bone folder on the back. Just so that I know everything's well stuck down. And then this one, I'm going to peel the tape. And we'll stick it down. So we made our quilt. We're going to put one of these big quilted pieces in each of the pockets, but it's a disguise, right? Because it seems like it's a huge quilt, but it's not really. It's not really. All right, so now this is going to be the front for this. And once we get that blue mat around it, look how nice it looks. Yes, it definitely shows off. This is a good way to show off all the papers in the pack on one page. So, and it's not hard. You know, you watched me just do it. It took, it's 9:45, so between my yapping at the beginning of the show and now was 45 minutes, so maybe a half an hour, I would say, is what it takes to put something like this together. Maybe a half an hour. So that's why, if you've ever noticed that I put my tiny scraps in a bag, their own bag, that's because I don't want them all getting lost in the bottom of my scrap bag. in case I want to do this, I need to be able to see them all. Yeah, I did this in, well, I've done this in 2 projects with her paper, because I did this in Come Fly With Me, and I did this in Half the Fun. Although I did it much more in Come Fly With Me, because I was just running out of paper. I mean, and I was desperate. That's really, we got to the end of Come Fly With Me, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to have enough paper to finish this book. So that one, it was necessity. So it was getting sketchy. It was getting sketchy. But yeah, I was very concerned with the Come Fly With Me album that I wasn't going to be able to, you know, to actually finish it. And that was before I had the ability to print my own stuff, or else I could have just done the digital, but I did not at the time really have any idea how to even begin doing that. So all right. So got my bag of tiny scraps, and like I said, I keep this bag of tiny scraps around just specifically now so I can make these pages. Since they're becoming a signature. It wasn't my idea that they would be when I first started doing them. The first time I did one, it was because it was Come Fly With Me and I was going to run out of paper, but now that's just turning out to be, I like the way they look. So, okay, now we're just going to put tape on the back. Yes, exactly. Necessity is the mother of invention. No, I need it. I need it, so I'm going to make it. I keep the tinies. I keep the tiny scraps because I love Tiny Cat. Yes, that's right. Although Kitty was my friend today, so, and I have seen Tiny Cat not very much at all, so I never know which one. We are probably, yes. Priya asks if we're very close to using 2 paper packs. We're not close. Yet we are. I have used more paper than I would like to at this point, and I am concerned about getting the inserts done. Well, we cleaned the garage and Tiny Cat doesn't like it anymore. I think she's kind of mad. Because she doesn't have any box mountains to climb anymore. Oh, that just looks fantastic. All right, so now we just need to we're going to put journaling spots right here and right here, so that you can tell a story. And then on the back, we'll put a piece of pattern paper. I know, from her perspective, we ruined the garage. We ruined it, so. But I'll show you a picture of the clean garage. Okay, so now Mr. Lifeguard has a grumpy face in this photo. We don't know why, because he wasn't actually mad about anything, but it's kind of funny. All right, so along this wall where you see all these boxes and those dining room chairs, that's all of my sister's stuff from her house. And, you know, when she gets her own place, that will eventually leave us one day. And then here we have Christmas decorations and fall decorations and that sort of thing on the top. And then just other stuff that you don't need every day. Like this is an additional lighting kit for the craft, for filming that we rarely use, but we can't quite get rid of it. That's an arrow bed, you know, stuff like that, luggage. So, but what we did to build those shelves is we took every single piece of everything out of the garage. Like we took everything out of the garage, every single thing left the garage. And then we put everything in the driveway in 3 piles, one to keep, one to go to Salvation Army, and one that was just trash. So, so that we like really did a good declutter. And so we're happy. We're happy. So now we have to find a piece of paper to go on the back of this. And I think what I'm going to do, well, I was saying I was going to pull this up, but this is not wide enough, so I can't pull it up. So maybe I won't use that. I can use this. I can use this. All right, we'll just put this on the back. This is a nice clean piece to go on the back. Okay, and it's what, 9 and 5/8. It's 8 7/8 tall. I know that. So the paper is 8 5/8 tall. So I can start there. And was it 9 5/8 or 9? It was 9 3/8, right? Hopefully it was 9 3/8 because I just cut it to 9 3/8. Yeah, it was 9 3/8. All right, so that's going to go on the back because I covered it up. Because I wrote it down and then covered it up. Ah, well. Okay. So I'm going to ink this and stick it down to the back, and then we'll pick some journaling paper for the inside to tell our story. All right. Woo! What I should do is write the measurement on the other two so I don't forget. You know, that's what I would recommend for something like this if you're not keeping a list of all your measurements, which I should be, but I'm not, because that would make sense and be smart. We don't do that around these parts. We fly by the seat of our pants. All right, so we're just working on the inserts for envelope E1. That's what this is. Envelope E as in echo 1. And then next week, we're taking a brief break from Split Decision because it's the weekend before, or it's the class before Thanksgiving. So I'm going to do the Thanksgiving place card gratitude album Dorian Pocket. And then, So we'll do that next week and get that done with the cayenne pepper cardstock. And then we're going to, if I write it down, I can thank past Kathryn. I know. She deserves a break. I feel like she had a break recently, though. Is there anything you can do to prepare for the Dorian class? I mean, the only thing I would say is just know how many people, you know, you're going to be making place cards for. Just kind of make sure you have plenty of cardstock to make a Dorian pocket and a bunch of place cards. And then also make sure you have journaling paper handy, because what you do is you put journaling paper on the inside of the place cards and you put their names on the outside, and then you have them write on the journaling paper what they're thankful for. And then you can put those cards after Thanksgiving in the pockets of the Dorian folio, and that becomes a gratitude album. So that's the idea. So just to have, you know, a few sheets of cardstock for your base and cardstock for your place cards. Make sure it matches your decor, you know, because you don't want to use, like, let's say that you've decided to do hot pink as your primary Thanksgiving color, you know, then don't make an orange Dorian pocket. So pick some stuff that's going to coordinate. All right, so for the inside, I think I'm going to go with this one, the kind of tea-stained looking one. All right. This is Journaling Basics once again. All right, so this is 8 5/8, but, oh, and 3 inches. I measured that already. I actually know the answers to some of these questions. So 3 inches by 8 5/8. Yeah, I like this one a lot too. This one and the one that's just plain notebook like a school, I like that one as well. All right, so good night, Priya. This will finish off this insert, and we can just put ATG on this one because it's inside a folder, so we don't have to worry about it getting stuck on anything. Yep. Okay, then we're gonna put the other one down, and that finishes off this insert. I'll quickly finish the tall skinny insert because that one comes together very quickly because it just doesn't have a lot of room. And then the middle one is where we'll start. All right, beautiful. So here's this insert. So we've got an enlargement on the front with our quilt to show off our paper piecing skills. 4 4x6 photos on the inside, and then room for journaling to tell the story of what's going on in these 4 photos. Then on the back, I put pattern paper, but you could add 2 more photos, whatever you want to do. And that's it. That's the third insert. So let's set this aside. And now what do we need to do? We've got the Polaroid. Okay. So I'm going to stick the Polaroid to a sheet of 8.5 by 11. And what I'm going to do is on the back, I'm going to cover it with liquid glue. Now the other Polaroids, I put tape on. So this is the only one of the 3 double Polaroids that will have to be glued. And then I just smooth it out gently. It's an inch. So 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch, inch. And then these are 3 3/4 inch squares. Now, on yours, you put your photos back there, right? So you glue your photos in these frames, and then you put the cardstock back on it. All right? So, because you need to be able to get your photos in, or you cut your photos to 3.5 inch squares and just glue them right on top. That's the other way that you can handle it. But this way we get 4 squares. 4 squares. This is a great way to tell a story as well. Oh my gosh. The protective cap came off my knife, and I grabbed it to remove the protective the protective cap, and I felt the blade. Luckily, I didn't grab it hard enough. Okay, well, I don't know where its cap is. That's going to be a problem. That's a problem. So I can't find the cap. Oh, well. Oh, here it is. Okay. Phew. I feel better now. Okay, so now on the back, we have just a plain piece of white cardstock. We can add pattern paper to it. We can add journaling paper to it, whatever we want to do. And I'm just going to stamp, you know, the photo stamp in the four corners here. And that'll finish this off here. But that looks very, very, very cool. Now you can, if you want to, you can make this out of pattern paper. I'm going to leave it just blue. And then we'll put some pattern paper on the back. Or do I want to put journaling paper on the back? I think I'm going to put journaling paper on the back. And all the videos on how to make the Polaroid as well as SVG cuts for the Polaroid, if you have a cutter, are in the Half the Fun album, or excuse me, the Split Decision album basics guide folder. That is a lot of journaling, it's true. I hope this person who's writing has a lot going on. Whew. Or we could cut new paper maybe. But our paper supply is dwindling. The other thing you could do is you could, well, we're going to do this. I'm going to use scraps of journaling paper to frame out 2 photo mats. So this paper is 8 1/4 wide. Photo mat needs 6 1/4 inches of space. That would leave 2 inches, but we also have 1, 2, 3/8 of an inch for the framing. Well, no, 6 1/4 takes care of 2 of them, so we just need 1. So it's 1 7/8 that our piece of paper needs to be. 1 7/8 for our journaling spot. So because it's so small, I think I can use some of my tiny scraps. What do I do with my albums? Well, I used to keep them all. Because I used to, well, I currently do keep them all. Because I used to be a vendor at Crops. And so I would take all the physical albums and people could flip through them and then buy the tutorials from the albums to work on at the Crops. And that's great. Great. So I have most of my albums except for a few that have been stolen over the years. But so I haven't figured out what to do with them. All right, so I'm going to make this 4 inches because that'll make it the height of the photo. So I don't have a plan yet. Eventually I'm going to run out of space, I guess. And then I'm going to have to figure out something. I have auctioned off a few over the years as well. Some of them I give away also. If I have a friend who oh yeah, we could put spots for 4x6 photos. Okay. All right. So it's 1 7/8 by 4. Okay. So that's these two. Yeah, I could make an album of my albums. So some of them I have put photos in and actually use in their books. So that's another thing that occasionally happens, is they actually get used as albums. Specifically Hometown Summer, I actually put photos in it as I went. So when the book was done, the album was done. That was quite the achievement. Quite the achievement. But like the baby album, and December Daily, I want to put photos in. I need to get my act together and think of 25 things to do. I'm going to make Mr. Lifeguard and intern Liz are going to, every day they're going to get off work and I'm going to be like, all right, I've got our activity for the day. All right, so this space right here is the space of a 4x6, a 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 photo mat. So just put the photo stamp here and then we can get 2 more photos on the back. So that's cool. So 6 photos on this. And then I'm just going to check because it's 9 inches and these are 4 1/4. So there's like a 1/2 inch strip in the middle where I could put a 1/2 inch strip of paper just for a little bit of decorative oomph. Maybe something red would look good. No, I'm thinking something blue. Yeah, something like that. All right. So 8 inches by a 1/2 inch. Just a thin little strip to form a divider and make it look a little more finished. And this is a nice layout for the back of the Polaroid. Got 2 more 4x6 photos. All right. Yay! So I'm going to run a line of 3/8 inch tape down the back of this because it's a 1/2 inch. Right down the middle. And we're going to work on that. So it's going to fit right in. All right, so there we go. That's done. So now this can go with the other inserts. We've got 2 of the 4 inserts done. Have this one now is a great place to put a 4x6 photo, or a 4x6 card, I mean. You could do a photo as well, but it's a great place for a card. I just think there's not a lot of 4x6 cards in this collection. There's a lot of 6x4 cards, but there's not a lot of 4x6 cards. So what we're probably going to have to do is, you know, put something together, like pieced, paper pieced. And, well, I've got this. This is probably a really good spot for this because of the shape. Fits perfectly on there. So that's a good place to use that one. And then we just need to put some pattern paper on the back. All right, so I'm going to ink the edges of this and then we'll stick it down with tape. But this is a nice card, and I've been trying to think of how I was going to use it because of its shape, but it I was trying to figure out how I was going to use it in spite of its shape, and instead we're using it because of its shape, because the perfect opportunity came along. So sometimes you just need to wait, and the paper finds its own way. And I'm just wondering how I would like this with a yellow mat behind it. What do we think? Does that make it better? Let's do a vote. All right. So if you want yellow like this is a 1. And if you don't want yellow, just like this is a 2. All right. And I'm probably not going to use this pattern paper. I think what I'm going to do is find a yellow cardstock in my swatch book that's that color and use it, because I'm thinking the honey is it not golden enough? We have to go golder, solid gold. I think solid gold is better. I can't go any darker than solid gold though, because mustard is very green. See how green mustard is? So we'll use solid gold. All right, let's get a sheet of solid gold. Yes, that's right. I keep sheets of solid gold in my office. Okay, now, the thing is, this paper is pretty depressed. The paper's not depressed. The paper is pretty distressed. So I think the solid gold looks a little clean. So what I'm going to do is let's rough it up. Did I give the baby book to the mother yet? Yes, I did. And she sent me a thank you card, and she put on the front of it was shine on in glitter letters. And she said, was very appreciative. She loved it. She said, and she loved her purse, and she loved that she's going to get new shoes. So the whole thing worked really well. All right, so now that I've crumpled it up like this, I'm going to do some stuff to it. So she got it, which is nice. All right, let's put some distressing on it. Okay. Okay, so that was mustard seed distress ink. And now I'm going to take vintage photo. just on the edges. And then with the vintage photo, all right, I'm gonna grab an ink pad and I'm gonna just kind of swirl everything on the very edges together. I'm just gonna use a circular motion just to blend it all a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect or anything. Okay, and then I just need, my hands are getting really messy, but that's okay. What do I want? Stamps. All right, so I'm going to take this stamp that is a map. This is a cover card stamp from Impression Obsession, and it's called Map. And I'm going to I don't want this stamp to look very particularly good, okay? So you know, that's why I'm not using a block. All right, so now we have this little grungy mess. All right. But yeah, she was very, very thankful. I was very happy. All right, now put this stamp away. Okay. So now we need to put away this mat. Okay, so I'm going to try with my bone folder just to flatten this as best I can. I'm not going to be able to get it perfectly flat, but I am going to be able to flatten it more than it is right now. Okay, but just to get an idea. All right, so now, see, that makes a big difference in how this is going to fit with the rest of the book. All right, so this needs to be 4 1/4 by 8 5/8 is what we cut this down to. right, so I've cut it down to the right size. And now I'm going to ink the edges with brushed corduroy. And we'll tape it into place. All right. Not a ton of it's going to show, but it's going to look a lot better. Let me wash my hand here. But it's going to look a lot better with the rest of the papers than if I had just left it as it was. I mean, look at how much closer now it is to the way this one looks. All right. All right, let's try to get it on here as flat as we can. So I'm going to use 1/2 inch tape so that I have a better chance of getting it nice and flat. Okay. I'm just working in small sections to hold it kind of flat to my desk and then pressing the tape down. That way I'll be able to get the edges fairly straight. And then because it is so textured now, I'm going to run 2 lines of tape up the middle. The chickening has reached my area. There was a fight broke out at the drive-through windows of a Popeye, at the drive-through window of a Popeyes 20 miles from my house. One guy was asked to pull up because, I don't know, like they need to make fries or something, and then he just refused. So someone else got out of their car and attacked him in the window. And I was just like, okay, you know, file under Florida man. Florida man strikes again. Ah, it's too long. Oh, right, because I cut this down. What did I cut it down to? I have to measure it. 10, 8.5. So I need to make this 8 1/4. All right. I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stick it down and then I'm going to cut it. I'm just going to cut the paper. So what I do with something like this is I cut just through the top layer, so just lightly through the orange. And then see if I can pull it. All right, I didn't get all the way through. All right, there we go. I made it. All right, so now we're gonna put this down, and it looks perfect because it looks only the vintage part is showing. So it absolutely looks like it's part of everything we have going on here. So what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to burnish as well as I can. There we go. All right, so that looks wonderful. Now we've got here, I'm going to add this to the top and bottom. So I'm going to take 1 inch strips of this, 1 inch by 4 1/4 inch strips of this. And I just need 4 1 inch by 4 1/4 inch pieces. Four 1/4. Four 1/4. All right. There we go. So we're gonna just ink all the edges of these and stick them on the inside, and then pick a nice paper for the back. And then that'll be 3 of the 4 inserts for this pocket done. So that's exciting. We may go over so I can do the 4th insert, because I don't, since we are taking next week we're doing that Thanksgiving project. I want to finish all the inserts today if I can. So, yeah. Okay, so after this, we'll just need to put some pattern paper on the back to finish off the back, and then we'll be all set. All right, so that's the inside. So now we just need to do the back. And I think for the back, let's get a scrap. Someone said measure. We don't do that around these parts. There's no measuring. What kind of show do you think this is? I think this is some kind of educational broadcast. Measuring is for rule followers. Measuring, yeah, exactly. Don't just do what the man tells you, or in this case, the woman. All right. But seriously, I am going to measure it because I did forget what it was. Because I messed it up earlier. 8.5. Okay. But I thought we were supposed to do what you say. Oh, I know there's so many contradictions on this show. So many contradictions. That is a problem, Gretchen. You know, if we didn't make mistakes, then I couldn't come up, show you how to fix mistakes. So, you know, I need to always keep making some mistakes. Some mistakes. All right. All right, so I'm going to stick this on the back and that'll finish this off. And then we'll do the medium-sized one. So we've done the large one, the small one, and the Polaroid. And now we just have the medium-sized one left. And of course, you can put additional photo mat on the back if you want to. All right, so we got this. And I think I'm gonna quickly cover the back. with something. And then we'll work on decorating the front. Because the front, never mind, I'm going to do the front first. I'm just going to do what I want. All right, so the front is a good place to use a 4x6 photo. I'm going to do the back first. Just kidding. Just kidding. Yeah, exactly. Donna says just not 3 mistakes in a row. You gotta, like, you know, there's a limit to how many mistakes we're gonna do in one session. So. Yeah, unless you have a cursed album, and then there is no limit. There is no limit. All right, so here are my thoughts. I have them. They're deep. So get ready, get excited. I'm liking the look of this. So we just need to find something to, you're scared. They're scared. They're scared of my deep thoughts. Look, it's okay. It's okay. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. We're just going to find a piece of pattern paper that all of these elements will pop on. And that's what we need. And I'm thinking something red. Because we have used some red, but not a ton of red. All right, so I'm going to clip all these together with a clothespin so they stop trying to escape all the time. All right, so let's take a look at what we have in the red department. And it may not be much. So we may have to go with like the rust department. I don't like that though. Oof, no. I mean, it's not like the grossest page I've ever seen in my life. But certainly not like blowing my mind. Okay, so here Gretchen wants to know what's the grossest page I've seen in my life. Well, you guys, you might be surprised by some of the pages that I don't like. You know, because I've certainly done pages and been like, well, that's not going in the album. Like, that's not going on Facebook. But I don't know if I've ever, well, actually, that's not true. Do I have it easily accessible? A page I did like way early when I first started crafting, maybe, of this trip we took to New Orleans. Let me see if it's in this first book I pull out, I'll show you. But this album might have been after I started to get kind of okay at crafting. Yeah, this isn't the book. By the time I made this, I was kind of okay at crafting. Oh well. I don't know where the book with my first scrapbook is, because that's really some rough stuff. That is some rough stuff. But yeah, I don't know where it is. Oh, here it is. Okay, so this is my first scrapbook. And the only reason that I have this scrapbook is because my mom gave me a K & Company kit. And I felt guilty about not using it. This is a pretty bad page. This was, I don't know, if you haven't been crafting for more than 10 years, then you may not recollect this page where we took decorative scissors and cropped the context out of all the photos. But this is the page I always think of when I think of like really terrible crafting, is this one. Because this was like, oh, so I went to New Orleans and I got a pack of New Orleans stickers and I have to stick all of the stickers on the page, you know. This, I don't know what this yeah, this was, oh man. Yeah. I mean, this is a true scrapbook in that it has a bunch of crap in it, like scraps, you know. But what's my favorite page I ever did? Well, probably all the pages that I feel like are the best and that most recently are all in my sister's wedding album, which has disappeared. So, yeah. All right. So I'm going to cut this to 6 1/4 by 8 5/8. That did used to be the style. All right, so I'm going to cut this ticket so that it looks more like a ticket. And I'm just going to notch it. All right. But yeah, that used to be the style where Yeah. Gretchen says, I made a friend. So you made her a sticker sneeze album. That's what we called it once we stopped doing it. Sticker sneeze. But yeah, we all had to start somewhere. And that was I had never, I had no intention of becoming a paper crafter. So all of this that's happening right now would not have happened if my mother had gotten me an engagement present that I would have actually liked. So she got me a scrapbook for I didn't scrapbook, she didn't scrapbook. I do not know why that's what she got me for an engagement present. So after we got married and moved in together, I found it in like the bottom of the linen closet. And I thought, what if one day my mom comes over and asks to see this? And I'm like, Mom, I didn't make it because I don't scrapbook, and that was a terrible present. That's probably not going to work as an answer. So I just made a scrapbook. And that was kind of just that's how it started. All right, so I'm going to cut this in half so I can use it in the album again later. But yeah. But yeah, my best pages are definitely in the wedding album. And good night, Donna. I hope you heal from your jet lag. Heal? Is that what you recover? Recover is probably better. Donna has jet lag disease. Joy says, I started out making cards, then went to 12 by 12 purchase kits, now making my own albums in various sizes. I've made cards, but I've never gotten as into card making as a card maker would be. So I'm inking everything, and then once it's all inked, I'll start sticking it down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick it all down with glue because, again, these shaped items going in and out of the pocket. So what I like to do is get everything placed. Make sure I still like it. So I don't think I need this ticket anymore. So this, I like the idea, but I'm going to change how I do it. I'm going to make a slit in the paper and tuck it underneath so it becomes part of this photo mat. Okay. So oops, I have to extend this. All right. So this is going to get stuck down here. Okay, like so. And then I'm going to tape it on the back. Just temporarily. Because I'm gonna cut a notch for it to sit down in. Just so it's a little bit flatter. This is one of those steps you don't have to do. It's for picky weirdos. But it's going to really help the page lay flatter and make this look like it's part of this card, sort of naturally part of this card. So then the next thing I'm going to do is cut, let's do this. By the way, this is the Mr. Pen drafting tape, and so far of all the tapes I've tried, it's been the one that I have liked the best. All right, so now this is all one layer. I'm going to tape all around it. So you're going back to, you're going to go teach card classes, but you haven't made cards in a while. Yeah, you're going to have to find out what's hip and cool in the card world. Which I think is a lot of watercolor. I see a lot of watercolor cards lately in my feed. Okay. So all right, so there we go. So now we can use this as one piece. So this will get tucked back here. This is the bottom layer. So, well, you don't have to be hip and cool, Gretchen. You can leave that for the hip, cool kids if you want to. Fancy folds are in. All right. So I'm going to press this down. But Gretchen is hip and cool. All right, so now that I've got that in place, I'm going to put this one on top so I know kind of exactly where this needs to go. All right, I think I'm ready because I said I'm not going to use this ticket anymore, right? Yeah, because sometimes you're just adding stuff to add stuff. What the ticket does is it makes it seem like you can't see that that's tying into the pieces down here as well. All right, so what I'm going to do to this piece is all right, so now I'm going to stick this to the front because when you're making a stack like this, you want to work from the back to the front. And this is the top piece. Ooh, I stabbed it. Sorry. Sorry, buddy. Okay. So now that that's stuck down, flatten it. And then peel this tape. Stick it down, flatten it. And then tape the back. Then we'll have to put something on the back of that. So Heartfelt Creation, I've seen a lot of Heartfelt Creation stuff on my feed, my Facebook feed. And watercolors, and of course Copic markers, coloring images with Copic markers is still totally in. And then we'll stick this to the front. All right, and then on the inside, we've got 4 photo mats, so now we just need something to go on the back. So let's look at the scrap bag and see if maybe we're going to get lucky and there's something the right size. So, you know, we have this, but it's not facing the right direction, so I'd have to use this, which is just kind of boring. I could just use this piece. So I think I will. 6 1/4 by 8 5/8. There we go. Oh, that's funny, Joyce. Okay. And then, as soon as I stick this down, we can admire all the inserts as we put them into the envelope. So, okay. So we may have overdone it with inserts. You know, maybe there's too many inserts in this book, but I don't really care because I kind of like pockets stuffed with stuff, you know. Just want... I need to get a book on increasing your vocabulary. Because in addition to making up words... All right, perfect. So let's take a look at all of our inserts, because we've got a bunch and I'm excited about them. All right. Trying to do a scooch of tidying around here. All right. Up. All right, so this is envelope E1. E as in echo. It goes on the back of page style A of the full-sized page, style A. And this is what's going inside. So we've got the small, medium, and large inserts, and then also the quad Polaroid, which has another photo layout on the back. Okay, so life is just like a camera. Just focus on what is important and capture the good times. Develop from the negatives, and if things don't work out, just take another shot. And then room for 2 vertical or portrait photos on the inside. You can add a 3rd vertical or portrait photo to the back if you desire. The best thing about a picture is that it never changes, even when the people in it do. So memories captured, our story. 4 landscape horizontal photos on the inside. You can add 2 more to the back if you so desire. And then you'll have 6 photos in this wallet. And then enlargement on the front of our quilted page. Inside, 4 additional 4x6 photos and room to tell a big story. And then again, you can add 2 more photos to the back if you want. I've added pattern paper. So we've got the big one, the Polaroid. So 17 photos, Bev says, in this pocket, in this envelope. 17 photos. So there we go. And this could be a mini album all on its own as well. So, you know, you could give someone this envelope, you know, you would finish it on the back with a piece of pattern paper. But you could make an envelope like this and stuff it full of inserts and give it to someone in lieu of an album as well. So there's 3 of these. So 17 times 3 is a number that is bigger than 17. So, so there you go. There you go with that information that was very helpful to have. Let's see, 7 times 3 is 21. So 51? 51, right? Yeah, 51. Look, I mathed in my head. Okay. I mathed in my head, everyone. And so here we go. This is the end of envelope E1. So the end of envelope E1. So that is what goes on the back of page A, which is this one. So they will go in the book like so. They will stick to each other on either side of a spine fin, like this. And then this is the one that's right next to them. So yeah, it's gonna be a heavy book. It's gonna be a big book, but you know, I think by now you can expect that around these parts. Maybe in 2020 I'll try to make some milder books, some quicker and easier books. But I just like junking stuff up and stuffing things really full. That's what I like. So I'm probably gonna keep doing it. So I mean, I can try, but I'm probably gonna keep doing it. So thanks so much for watching, everyone. Please enjoy your weekends, and I will be back next week. We're going to do a Thanksgiving project that you can use to decorate your Thanksgiving table and also torture your relatives. So of course it's amazing. And then the week after that is Black Friday. We're going to do a sale. We're going to announce the winner of Glitter Party 2019, and we're gonna have a party, an online party. So it's going to be fun. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye now.